Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our weekly live. Doing this solo again this weekend because my partner, business partner, and close friend Adam Hart is with his family, enjoying life because life is awesome. Yeah, our topic today is, hey Danny, how you doing, buddy? Our topic today is societal, cultural lessons that we need to unlearn. So what do I mean when I say that? Well, we're born into this life, into whatever family we're born into, and very early on we start to learn lessons of what it means to be alive and how we should live life, and what are the right values and norms and rules to live by, and we learn that from our parents. And when we're young, our parents are everything. Our parents are God to us, aren't they? And so all those lessons we learn, they're just true. They're just right. And a lot of them aren't necessarily good lessons, because our parents, of course, are saddled with their own stuff and how elevated their vibration is going to transfer to us. So we get trauma from them and the rest of it. And then as we grow, institutions frame our understanding of how we should live, and our schools, and our schools, God bless teachers, hardest and one of the most important jobs in the world, but there's a curriculum, and this is history, and this is what we're supposed to learn, and this is how we're supposed to act, and these are the rules, and don't color outside the lines, all of that. And then things like our other institutions, our criminal system, our justice system, our healthcare system. In North America, we've learned that healthcare is about pretty invasive shit. Surgery and drugs basically is how we deal with health challenges. And so we are born and raised into a culture and a society which really frames for us how we should live life, how we should act, what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. And there's a few lessons in there that I think have really pulled us away from living through our heart and living through understanding what it means to be alive. And I want to run through two or three of those. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Give us a like, give us a comment if you like what you're hearing, if you have something to say on the topic or on this live. If you got something to say, put it in there. First thing is the idea of individualism. If we look at cultures around the world, family structure and community structures predominantly are pretty significant. In Asian cultures and African cultures, Indian cultures, the family is really important. But in the Western North American culture, we're taught from a very young age, go to sleep in your own crib, do it on your own. There's a competitiveness that comes into it that, like, to live our best life and to be our best selves, we need to compete with everyone else for that sliver of the pie that's available, because it's not available for everybody. And I think more so, again, my experience as being a man, but more so for men is, suck it up, be a man, don't ask for help, do it on your own, you've got to win. And some of that is important. It's important to as an individual, strive to grow and to, whatever that is for you. But there's also an importance of community, of family, that I think we've minimized in our Western culture. Another piece that I think, a lesson that is overwhelmingly imposed upon us by necessity in many respects, is the idea that wealth will bring happiness, and wealth is the path to happiness. Is financial stability and financial ability important? Yeah, sure it is, because that's the culture we live in, that's the culture we built. You only have to look outside at the cost of shelter, the cost of housing, the cost of food, the cost of, just surviving is significant. And so we have to work, we have to find ways to develop some volume of wealth. But our culture then puts all these things in front of us to spend that wealth on, that pull us away from being able to afford long-term wellness and long-term sustainable level of wealth that gives us shelter and food and those necessities, healthcare, those sorts of things. And what it sells us predominantly is comfort and convenience. And that's another, I think, societal rule that we have to beware of and consider, because it's so easy to be seduced into the feeling that, yeah, these things that I'm spending my money on that bring me comfort, that bring me convenience, make life easier, or they make my life momentarily happier. Yet they don't. Hi, Andrea. Nice to see you. They don't really give us that long-term feeling of connection and success and growth and abundance and fulfillment. They give us momentary pleasure and actually seduce us into a state of complacency, because the uncomfortable gets seen as a negative, whereas life is uncomfortable in many aspects. Just being cold, being out in nature can be uncomfortable. Exerting energy can be uncomfortable. Having challenging conversations can be uncomfortable. Working within that family structure and that community structure, which is so important to us, can be uncomfortable. I had a conversation with a lady this morning, a super powerful conversation. Started out a bit uncomfortable, but incredibly fulfilling, because it's an important part of life. So some of these societal rules, wealth, we know this stuff. Wealth brings happiness. This is what healthcare should be. This is how we're supposed to act. This is why it's important that other people see us a certain way, that ego stuff. These are all rules which really can hold us back. Another one is our wellness and our health. We don't realize that when we're born into our Western culture, especially in the big cities, that so much of what we're born into and raised in is really an unhealthy environment for us. But it's normal. It's the way everybody lives. It's how I live. It's how my neighbors live. It's how my friends live. So it's just life. This is the way life is. Yet, living inside 90% of our time you've heard us talk about this all the time, under artificial lights, eating processed food, having a stagnant lifestyle, a sedentary lifestyle, not valuing sleep. All this stuff isn't healthy for us. But it's just the way we've been raised, so it's normal. And we can look back on our own personal experience, and normal is right, because it's normal. But it's not necessarily. So what do we do about all these rules, all these cultural and societal rules that we've written for ourselves, which aren't filling us with abundance? We're not feeling, our quality of life isn't what it's supposed to be. It's this big lie that, I've been working my ass off all my life to build this life and to do it on my own. And we can get to 35, 45, 55 years old and go, why aren't I happy? Why don't I feel the abundance that our culture promised me is available to me when I earn enough money, and when I have a big house, and when I have all the toys, and when I have, the family I'm supposed to have? And it's because some of these things are being taught aren't necessarily true or complete in their explanation. So how do we step outside of that? Well, I think the first and most important thing is to allow yourself, sorry, I'm being distracted by people on the beach, is to allow yourself to get connected to having authentic conversations with people. Get connected to talking from your heart, as uncomfortable as it might feel to begin with, and have authentic conversations with like-minded people that are also interested in growth and questioning life and questioning quality of life and questioning purpose and questioning feelings and thoughts. Those are great ways to unpack what your thoughts are, what your feelings are, in a safe place. It's always met with support. Honesty is felt. Honesty and authenticity and vulnerability are energies that are very attractive. Hey, Allison, nice to see you. Hey, Dave. And so allow yourself to connect to whomever it is. If it's a partner and a spouse, what a blessing to have that in your life. If it's a parent, if it's a friend, a good close friend, if it's a group, if it's a coach, if it's a mentor, like what we do in our Unleash Your Energy program. Get connected to having authentic conversations and to being vulnerable about what you're feeling and what you're thinking. That allows us to open the door to shift some of those beliefs we might have about how we should live our lives to really generate our best quality of life. So recognize that your culture, your society in the West, in the Western world, in North America, is flawed. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I think civilizations for centuries have been, you know, trying to crack the nut of what's the right societal structure and culture to have to benefit its citizens. But don't question it with you know, anger and conspiracy theories and debate and having to be right and all of that. Approach it with curiosity and discussion and vulnerability, and there's always opportunity to grow from that. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a subscribe. We've got lots of other good videos on this channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, check out our YouTube channel at Clear Impact Coaching. And yeah, have a spectacular day, everybody. Be yourselves and don't be afraid to share yourselves with others. It's a powerful, beautiful opportunity for growth and learning. Talk soon.